is super funny. Hey family, hey family. I don't know how much y'all have heard already, but I just want to make sure you guys can hear us okay. So I'm going to say it again just in case you didn't hear us a moment ago. YouTube, sometimes they be tripping with our line here, but it's all good. It's all good. Hey, I am here, Dr. Evangelist H.C. Barrett with ImPowered Mission TV. She Speaks series. And we are talking tonight about Lives Matter. And I'm so excited that we got one of my partners in no crime, my partners in success, music producer and activist, Seven Seeds Productions.
Hola, hola.
Hola, hola, ¿cómo está?
How are you, sis?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, gracias.
You're going to pull some Espanol on me. I love it. I love it. So, y'all, again, we're here with ImPowered Mission TV She Speaks series. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Lives Matter. And I talked to Seven and many of my other colleagues about this subject quite a bit. It sounds like there's a little bit of echo. Hopefully, there's not. But I talked to my colleagues about this and also Seven quite a bit. And I tell you, we want to bring this topic to you all tonight with She Speaks series. She speaks power in her voice. Come on, somebody, as we have this conversation with my brother, because it's all about being the movement that you want to see. And so we're going to be talking about this social engineering thing as it relates to, I know, right? As it relates to protesting, as it relates to Black Lives Matter, and as it relates to COVID-19. Okay? Before we dive in, y'all, I'm going to ask y'all to please hit subscribe. If this is your first time visiting us tonight, we are here every single Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here in the Atlanta, GA. So I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button, and then I think there's like a little bell that's there too where you can get some notifications, all right? So we're going to dive in again. We're talking about Lives Matter. You saw the exclamation point and the question mark there, and talk about this social engineering thing. And I got to throw it out there to my brother to start. And I got some thoughts on it too, but I want you to I want to start with this protesting thing, but I want you to kind of tap on one of these conversations we had about social engineering.
Okay, well, um, social engineering might be something that's new to a lot of people, that may not have been thought about by some.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to when we think engineering, we think lots of things, other people that are building things and putting the things together that we use in our daily lives for us. But is it impossible to believe that somebody could do social engineering, just getting in on the way that they want people to move?
Okay.
Not limited to where we want people to begin to shop in a certain area.
Okay.
You can see social engineering done a lot within constructions when they think of new shopping malls and things where they want people to shop, and with the colors of the mall and where we should place it and we should put these trees and how we make people feel because we want a certain group to shop here and we want to move traffic over here.
Mm-hmm.
So we see it in our cities where they develop whole sides of town. But the deeper thing than that is people studying us socially to know our behaviors, our habits.
Uh-huh.
Not limited to things like Google and Facebook, pitching those things that when you see that advertisement that comes up that's especially for you.
I don't like that. How do you know why I be shopping and stuff? Okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
data collection.
Okay.
To push you to certain sites socially. To social media is what we gather on, which is engineered to draw us into groups and things like that to push us towards pages and algorithms.
Okay.
But on a deeper level of social engineering, as you and I had the conversation yesterday, which was very enjoyable. I love conversating with you. We always have two different sides of the spectrum.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's right. We had some really serious two different sides of the spectrum as it relates to protesting, a hot topic, okay? And when you talked about social engineering, one of those things that you said to me that was real clear, you were talking about the fact that everything kind of was elevated with Kobe, okay, the death of Kobe Bryant. all these different things that have happened in 2020. Why 2020? Then we had Kobe. Then we had COVID. Then we had, you know, I believe George, Brianna, Ahmaud Aubrey, all of that kind of back to back to back. The elections.
Yes.
Why now? And so then we started diving into the protesting piece. So let's talk about it.
Well, why now? So now
Well,
the
why now?
level of
So
social
now
engineering takes
the
a
level of
whole
social engineering
another
takes a
turn.
whole another turn,
Complete from the
complete
things
from the
that we
things
would
that
think
we would
of.
think of.
Um,
Um,
it's not
it's
a
not a
popular
popular
topic because
topic because
people don't
people
like
don't
to
like to
assume that
assume that
somebody
somebody
can
can
take
take
all their
all their
information and
information and
conduct their
conduct their
lives
lives
and try
and
to
try to
use the
use the
information and
information and
knowledge that they
knowledge that
know
they
to
know to
direct their
direct their
lives
lives
in,
in,
a
a
path
path
that
that
they
they
think they
think
should
that they
go in.
should go in.
So when you
So
get
when
into
you get
that,
into
why
that, why
COVID?
Kobe?
Why
Why
COVID?
COVID?
Why
Why
the
the
protests now?
protests now?
You get
You
into
get
a
into a
whole
whole
different side
different
of
side of
social
social
engineering
engineering
that
that
is
is
socially
socially
engineered on a
engineered on
higher
a higher
level
level that
that goes
that goes
beyond
beyond
shock and
shock and
control
control into world control and domination to control the
habits of
habits
people.
of people.
And
And
there
there
are people
are
that
people
play
that
this
play
game
this game
Right.
to
social
social
engineer to
engineer
get
to
you
get
to
you
vote
to
a
vote
certain
a
way.
certain way.
You know,
You know,
there are
there are
billions of
billions of
dollars
dollars
spent
spent
on
on
campaigns
campaigns
and
and
behind
behind
presidential
presidential
candidates
candidates
and
and
other
other
electoral
electoral
candidates
candidates
at
Mm-hmm.
at
all
all
times, even
times,
to
even to the
mayoral
mayoral
elections.
elections.
On the
On
city
a city
level,
level,
money is
money is
put to
put to
drive
drive
your
your
thought
thought
process
process
into a whole
into a whole
different thing.
different thing.
So
So
we watch
we
this
watched
play
this
out of
play
a
out of
money
a money
game where
game where
people
people
get
get
into
into
the
the
things
things
of
of
social
social
engineering things
engineering
that
things
they
that they
want
want
to
to
happen,
happen,
Right.
where they get to
on
playing on
emotion,
emotion,
where
where
they
they
get
get
to
to
playing
playing
on
on
our
our
feelings,
feelings, where they
where they know
know
the
the
subjects
subjects
that
that
will
will
touch
touch
you.
you.
And
And
so
so
I
I
can't
can't
speak.
speak.
I only
I only
can
can
speak to
speak to
what
what
what I've
what I've
studied.
studied.
Starting with
Starting with
Kobe
Kobe
Bryant and
Bryant
knowing
and
that
knowing that
he had a
he
big
had a
deal
big
out
deal
against
out
the
against the
pharmacy, but
pharmacy, but
the
the
raw
raw
emotion and the
emotion and the
toll that
toll
that
that
took
that
up
took up
on this
on this
country,
country,
and not
and
only
not
this
only
country,
this
the
country, the
world, with
world,
his
with his
death.
death.
Seemed to
Seemed to
strike
strike
cast that
that
first
first
stone of
stone of
sadness and
sadness
doubt
and doubt
into the
Mm-hmm.
into the
atmosphere in
atmosphere in
2020. When we
2020. When we
started out
started out
2020, and
2020, and I mean,
if
if
everybody
everybody
watched the
watched the
funeral,
funeral,
it
it
generated through the
generated through the
airways. That was
airways.
one
That
of
was
the
one of the
saddest
saddest
funerals.
funerals. Everybody felt like they had lost their
Best
best
friend at that
friend at that
time.
time.
Right.
And people that you never even saw cried
Behind
behind
this
this
popular
popular
sports
sports
figure who
figure
had
who had
changed so
changed
many
so many
lives,
lives,
adding
adding
the
the
fact
fact
that
that
his
his
daughter
daughter
was
was
in
in
that
that
helicopter
helicopter
crash
crash
with
with
him.
him.
Wow.
You know,
You know, it
it adds
adds
so
so
much
much
in,
in,
so
so
we
we
could
could
start with
start with
Kobe and the
Kobe and the
toll
toll
that that
that
took on
took
the
on the
nation,
nation,
but
but
that
that
was
was
just
just one of
a few
a few
things, and
things. And
then
then
going
going
into
into
COVID
COVID
19,
19,
back
right back
after
after
that,
that,
and then
and then going back
right
into
after
right
COVID
after COVID
19, when you
19 when you
finally get
finally get
released out.
released out.
Now,
Now,
they've
they've
done this,
done
and now
this, and
we
now
have
we
the
have the
protests to
protests
spark
to
Mm-hmm.
spark off.
off.
Mm-hmm.
It
It
seems
seems
like
like
a
a
melting
melting
pot
pot
too
too
perfect
perfect
to make
to
a
make a
good,
good, a
melting pot too
melting pot too
perfect, but the
perfect, but
right
the
things
right
to
things
throw
to
out
throw out
Hey,
to
brother.
to make
Hey,
make
make
disaster in the
disaster in the
meal. You know
meal.
what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
brother. Hey, hey, hey.
Yes,
I think that we got some technical difficulties again with the awesome YouTube. So I don't know if you can see yourself on YouTube now, but we had this problem yesterday when we were on here. I think the viewers can hear us, but they might not be able to see us.
From my end, we're back.
We're back? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here we go again, y'all. You're getting deep. As always, you're always getting deep. But I gotta say something though. So I want to go back to this protesting thing, okay? Because we talk about how all this stuff happened in 2020. We talked about how 9/11 happened, and when we find out that was a huge conspiracy, why would we not believe that 2020 was a huge conspiracy? And I sat here and looked at this thing after we talked, right? When we were talking about the fact that we had George Floyd, of course, this happened with George Floyd, and then it was such a huge, big uproar. I mean, huge uproar. I mean, with everything. So if it was a huge uproar with George Floyd, and we still had, let me just call out some of the names, a whole lot of individuals that passed on before George Floyd in the last 5 years, and they were like major, major things that happened. We had Mike Brown, we had Jerry Fett, we had Tamir, you know, nothing. Terrence Crutcher. We had Dontre Hamilton, John Crawford, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker. Y'all, I got like 6, 7, 8, 90 of our brothers and sisters that were killed by police. So the question is, when we think about social engineering, why 2020? Yes, George Floyd, he was that horrible popo had his knee in his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Yes, he did. When we go back and look at all that has happened, when Black lives have been important all along, like all lives are, we still had since back what 2012, I believe, for Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
need to go further back. Go further back. I'm just saying. But why now? Was it the straw that broke a sister or a brother's back, or was it social engineering? COVID, election, people we are. What protesting? Talk to me. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you invited me here. I had to tread lightly on some of these things because I'm one for the shock factor. You know that. I am one who doesn't dismiss everything as conspiracy going through. But you asked a very important question. Why now? Why after so many black leaders and people getting killed and so many marches, we talked about Mike Brown, that was the perfect time to do it then. If they were gonna riot like they were and uprise like they were gonna uprise, but for everybody to join behind Ferguson, they had already started rioting, looting, but nobody took on the mass of this. We talk about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was 1 year old at the time, I believe, according to the facts that was presented. Black Lives Matter was one years old at the time and still a new organization coming up and uprising. But yeah, a whole nother topic. Um, and coming up. And at this time, people hadn't gathered behind the people in Ferguson like that. But Panthers, I know Panthers that stepped down there, and certain black militant groups at that time had stepped down there, and it was ready. It was right for going right then. In 2000, what was the year again on Mike Brown?
Mike Brown,
Yes,
2014.
2014. So 6 years ago, roughly 6 years ago, we had this chance, to go for it then. The youth were still the same youth that are out there protesting today, tearing up things and ready to destroy. Um, right now, but we can go into George Soros just now being able to put those millions into Black Lives Matter and start. But one maybe George Soros. We have to look it up. The original the real face behind Black Lives Matter. White guy. Uh, Hungarian, born, survived the survived Hitler in the Nazi days. Was a hedge fund money by on a what I believe called Black Wednesday. Y'all can go look this up on Black Wednesday when he was known as the man to break the English banking system. Wow. To become a billionaire. A big Democratic supporter. Why now? Maybe election year. Never, nobody ever seemed to think about that. Is that they've gone so far to can't have so much Donald Trump as they want to have again, ever again, that we'll reach to these extents to pull him out to do it behind the Black Lives Matter movement. What better movement? We already got a president in office that everyone believe is racist. Has proved this. That's doing things his way, contrary to popular belief. He just does his way. Walks like a duck. But yeah. So what? It's the perfect recipe to go ahead and push this forward, so we don't have another night after Hillary losing and everybody America breaking down and almost going into a psychiatric meltdown over the loss of the Democratic Party. Wow. Yes.
So, just so you know, you go out and you search on it. Black Lives Matter is, also led by a couple of, and this is, listen, do your research, find out who the co-owners are of Black Lives Matter, and listen, Black Lives Matter is a huge initiative. Gotta love it. It's got some awareness out there. Gotta love it. Brought a lot of people together, unified support. Gotta love it. I think that when you do your research, where I am not 100% convinced, and I can speak on this, is that where is the proactive solutions that are out there? What are they? I mean, what are they truly doing? I mean, what am I seeing outside of, even some of the chants? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Some of the chants that come behind Black Lives Matter. Okay, Black Lives Matter. How about some chants would have been like Black Power? How about no justice, no peace coming from Black Lives Matter? How about we shall overcome? But we're hearing things like hands up,
I surrender.
I surrender. How about love, not hate? How about, we shall not be moved? How about I am somebody? Some of those real positive things. Because when I think about Black Lives Matter and I think about the protesting piece, I think about what happens with all the other Black lives that have been lost, disturbed, disenfranchised, all of that outside of police brutality.
Exactly.
Outside of that.
Exactly. And this is where we cut it, and we just have to take a deeper look into what we're standing behind. Now, now I'm not. Don't get me wrong. All the people out there I know are standing up for a right and true and a righteous reason, and something needs to be done about police brutality, and the same thing that matter. Period. So, but do lives really matter to them? You got to ask. They say Black Lives Matter, but what lives really matter to them? Because
we're talking about Black lives. We've got Black on Black crime. That's real. We've got health issues. We've got lives. When we talk about lives, we can also go and talk about livelihood. So, what is it really? What does Black Lives Matter as an organization? Are they really maximizing their power? Okay, the numbers that are out there, 450,000 people protesting. Let's talk about that, because protesting, yes, I'm all for peaceful protesting. I know the protesting that we've done has made a lot of headway in a lot of things, but I don't see where, and I pray that Black Lives Matter is not standing behind looting, burning down stuff, because really that's a short term. We go back to the protesting discussion. That's a short term fix. It's a short term fix. If you really want to protest, let's protest and get some laws changed. Okay, let's get those 450,000 people. Let's go meet with the police chief. Let's go meet with, meet with the police chief, the mayors, the governors, all of that, and let's be heard for the long term. I can't even apologize. I just get so passionate about that. I'm like, what?
And that, and it seemed at the same term, that's where we, that's where for the viewers who know us, that's where we kind of split lines at. Because I'd be like, I'm more of a line of the Malcolm, by any means necessary type thing. But when I go back and hear by any means necessary, I know that it is. But when you go back, you can't dispel the rumors. And you just asked the important question of people telling me that they have saw ads in the paper for actors, to come out to these protests. And that they have been paid. Like I say, I no represent. They took the Soros name off of everything Black Lives Matter now. You can don't barely find any connection to him in that now where you're doing it. But somebody is paying these people, to come up and show up and act out for these actions. There have been reports of they pay people to loot. Some of these things can't be dismissed because it's not beyond anybody to pay a certain amount of people to do anything to set traps, just to set things in action. Where in engineering. Now we get back to the engineering. That now we started out on social engineering, but now just through talk we got to see where the engineering comes in the mind state, how this could be planned out. So we talked about, let's roll back to COVID-19, as we roll back to COVID. And everybody's saying, okay, COVID, COVID, roll back to COVID, COVID. One of the things in this 2020 melting pot that caused it to boil over. So we go out and we hear the naysayers about it, and we hear the people that are for it and really believe in it. Not saying that it's fake, but then we go out and hear the people saying that okay, this could actually be a plot and a plan to do it. To put it in there to go ahead and cause people to stay inside so that we can boil over. So they have to watch more news. So they actually have to sit inside and watch these black people being brutalized and vandalized inside their home. So now it's more magnified in the news media's eye, which makes it play on the emotions that we'll get tired. So now the first thing that we do, because I believe what Atlanta had been opened up, what maybe was 2 weeks now, 2 weeks to get out and do something. So 2 weeks to get out and do something. And the first thing we do after being pent up and having all this pent up frustration and aggression, we want to let it out on something. The malls are not open like they should be. The clubs are not open like they should be. Everything makes the perfect makes for a great situation. And I'm not saying that it happened. Just want you to think. What if? What if somebody wanted to play God and put these things in here and do that? What if some billionaire wanted to know they can manipulate everything that we do? They have the information. So now, even in this Google getting the analytics things, I know I'm on YouTube, so let me be quiet. They have more information to feed all these corporations to know how we would act. They seen us act crazy over chicken sandwiches in the Popeyes line, so they will do it. So now everybody got to have it. Those things that act crazy, so they know what will make us go wild. Popeyes made millions of dollars off of our people fighting in line over a chicken sandwich, slamming white women in the parking lot. If you saw that video, and people going crazy over this chicken sandwich, social engineered. So we pin our people up, and when I go back, I roll back from COVID to 9/11. The government wouldn't do this, and they wouldn't put this out here, and they wouldn't harm people in the sake of for sake of giving people and putting people in fear and mass hysteria to do the things we want. But roll back to 9/11, which now we find out the real story behind 9/11, and find out they brought down twin towers on their own people and killed firefighters and workers. They did that in your face and killed them. They did that. They did. They did that. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Mm.
you want to see, or is it part of social engineering? Is it part to get you to make some type of move to do something that they need us to do? I mean, that's real talk. These are not conspiracy theories. Like you said, brother, that whole thing with 9/11 was
Exactly.
real. So why
Exactly.
could this not be orchestrated to get people to do what you want them to do? Now, all of a sudden, the pandemic, COVID is not a big deal.
And
I
why?
have not heard anybody say anything about COVID that much. I've been watching it during these
Mm.
protesting times.
And why also, it's the perfect time. Why do you not think that once they did that and seen how the nation would go into fear, they knew that fear would control would control the masses do. So they were taking data at that time. Every time they gather intelligence, they've been telling you, we've been gathering intelligence. We know where people move. We have the cameras. We see you. Big Brother is watching. Now thousands of little
And Big Brother's listening.
and listening. Now
Hey, Big Brother.
thousands of little brothers are watching now and listening and reporting things that they don't like on social media, so that now they can go to it and gather analytics of those who've been put in Facebook jail, YouTube jail, and get the reports. So now they know who's acting. So they know who's watching. They've gathered this. They know how to move you into fear. They
Right.
and like I said, they killed people before. So I'm not saying that COVID is not real. And at the same time, I'm not saying just think about maybe it may have been put out
Thank you,
there
brother, for
because
clarifying.
there has to be casualties. If I'm gonna do something, there has to be casualties in the sentiment of making it real. 9/11, there were thousands of casualties. There's a graveyard. There's still thousands of bodies that hadn't been found. They started a real war overseas, gave you a real villain so you could go through it. Now Trump is our real villain. He is our Saddam Hussein. He is our Osama bin Laden within this situation for, say maybe the Democratic Party to get ahead. Why now? Because it's an election year and they can't have Trump to embarrass them again like they did in their
Wait, what?
in their popularity contest.
Wait.
They can't they can't have Trump to have they can't allow Trump to embarrass them again by winning another election. That's why.
I'm pro.
It,
This thing is true.
yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
It's an
His
election
breathing
year.
is embarrassing. And I'm a minister. And to hear him talk to someone, I mean, come on now. I mean, do we have to take somebody live and, genetically orchestrate this whole, that's something to think about, something to talk about. This whole COVID thing to get you to be up here, or to be here and then to make a few moves that are just not of common sense at all. Just forget about everything else. Common sense is not common. Yeah, but to make a few moves to get you here, to get some votes, you thought that giving a whole bunch of people $1,200, which many of us didn't get, but you thought giving a whole bunch of $1,200 checks was going to get you a vote. People, we gotta wake up. We gotta wake up. You know, and if we haven't, we gotta just can't fall for the okie doke on this thing. I hear it. I hear what you're saying, brother, too. And I just pray that, and I'm just waking up. Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
So look, I ain't passing no. I'm literally just waking up. I'm like watching all of this stuff. I'm reading it, researching it, and we gotta vote. We gotta be activists. And when you're activists, that does not mean you burning down stuff, loot stuff, stealing stuff. That means you're meeting with legislation. You are meeting with the police department. You're meeting with the community. You're understanding the law. You're understanding the bills that are about to pass. You're understanding who you're putting in office. You're understanding who your local leaders are. That's activism. Okay. And then we gotta be advocates of change. Because what happens if we police? Oh, come on. I gotta say this, and I need you to respond to this. What are we going to do when we defund the police? What are we going to do? Because all these things, some of these things we're fighting for, because I was following that line for a minute. And I was like, wait, hold up. When that
Uh,
what's the long term change with this stuff?
one
What
of
do we
the
stop?
one of the long term changes, and boy, this is gonna sound like let me just start right here. Uh we got to start being more smart. I know we want people, got to get people to vote, and after the vote, but we need to get people to understand how they're voting and to be truly honest about who they're voting for. Because you're fighting two enemies out there, and both of them are same playing the same side and laughing at you. Some people in the top 1% have games that only include them and their inside bets to see it's their popularity contest to see who can pull this over. And their job is to take the richest job is to take out another rich person. They're not concerned about you. They're not concerned about I. So we have to get out this term. And one of these things, because I'm going to mention a lot of Democratic things today, and by no means am I a Republican, but I don't really, in this, I really try not to vote and decide not to side with either. But when we see this going down, um, to answer your question, a, the Democrat, another thing, another things that the Democrats are fighting for is gun control. So what happens when you defund the police? Now we get to take away the guns because we have to make it safer because nobody's there to watch the guns. So now the feds move in federally and take away the guns. You become under federal law and things like this. And we know that the Democrats, one of the things since has been gun control, which is one of the things, in a Democrat, if you're looking at it, that I personally disagree with for my personal reasons. I don't have to state that, and we don't have to get into my personal reasons. But, I think every person should be able to protect their own property and, to protect, to have that right. And this is where it kind of differs because the Republicans are with that. The Republicans want to keep their guns. They don't want to be disarmed, and they don't want to be, a lot of things that most of our people don't believe in are being passed through democratic things. Things but we still tend to side with Democrats instead of siding with the person who may be right. So gun control comes after that. A lot stricter laws on what you can do and your protection. So now you become under federal protection. And then we ask the serious question: well, why are you defunding the police? How many people are going to stand up and protect their neighborhood that haven't been stopping the young kids from shooting as black leaders, that hadn't been going to see about rape victims in their neighborhood, when they have their best friend who they know is domestically abusing their spouse, and they won't even stand up for that. They won't stand up and talk to the youngsters. Won't stand up. And when I say they, because I do these things, we talk to all these people. So when I say they, I'm talking about those that are asking for it, but are not going to stand up and be the protection that their neighborhood needs. So that's what's going to happen. So that's a big question. After they're defunded, who's going to step up? They leave you with the question. So they have to put these federal things. But I believe the first thing that's coming is to take your guns and take away your right to defend yourself in a bold political move.
because at some point, we got a legacy to leave, right? We got children that's growing up, and some stuff has got to change that we got to do now. But let me tap on this real quick, brother, if you don't mind. I want to throw some stuff out there that did change because of protesting. Again, whether peaceful or not in certain areas, because protesting has been happening all around the world, right? It says in Maryland, a bipartisan work group of state lawmakers announced a police reform group. It says police brutality captured on cameras leads to near immediate suspensions and firings of officers in several cities now, Buffalo and Fort Lauderdale. That's 2 states, okay? We got a whole bunch more states, okay? So that means all the looting. I know people tired of burning up stuff and stealing and tearing down things. So we got to go to all the other states and keep protesting, but not stealing and burning stuff down, because we got what, 48, 49 states that need this type of, near immediate suspension, firings, all kinds of stuff to happen. Okay, all right, because it didn't just start in February, so it's not going to stop here in June. It's sad to say. I think it will slow up. I just don't think it's going to stop. So we need that type of, you know, action to happen everywhere, right? Right? I got 2 more for you. It says the really difficult public and private conversations that are happening about race and privilege. That's something that has happened now because of protests. I've got some really close non-black. I got some white, Asian, Hispanic co-laborers, that I work with, co-workers, people that I network with, that are we're having some serious conversations now. Where we didn't have that conversation before. We're talking about it. Okay, so that the protests have brought about, and I got like a whole like 60, 70 more things done in many states and cities around the country. But the protesting has made a difference, whether it be short term or long term. It has made some differences. So, I just want to see some more proactive with the whole Black Lives Matter. I think that Black Lives Matter in more than just police brutality and things that are happening to police. We got Black people in our community dying from so many things that giant of a Black Lives Matter organization and all of the rah-rah and the pump that Black Lives Matter has, we can do some productive change with that many people out protesting. Imagine if all those people would be voting, because I know everybody ain't voting. That's real talk. Imagine if all those people would be community organizations advocating and being advocates seriously. I mean, social engineering is slowing that down because social media and the media has put a huge spotlight. You knew where every protest was going on. People sitting at home going, man, I wish I could be there. I need to be there. Versus while they're out there doing that, why am I not trying to meet with my local senator or mayor, the police department, find out how I can help, what's going on? Why are we not the other group doing that on a major scale? You hear me calling?
Yeah. And I hear you, Colin. And those are some great facts. And like I said, those are some great changes that have taken place. Now, my belief, I like to think, is because they saw their stuff burn. It's been peaceful protesting and stuff. They never got this quick. But and I'm not just talking about the United States. You see, they want to blame it on us acting fool, but these are not us by ourselves out there doing it and getting it. In Mexico, where we seeing them douse gasoline on a police officer and burn a police officer up for what was going on, they know that the people gonna get ready for a fight. So what's the way, in one way, in one term I have, they said, well, they're gonna want to calm the fight down and they want to gonna get this done. And then sometimes I say, well, now in the social engineering way, they have to pour gasoline on the fire to get it to burn. So to get you to believe that the only way that this fire is going to be doused is by these changes. So now it magnifies the changes. But can I trust the changes now, even from the politicians that are in office? Because now because the city burned, I'm gonna call for a quick firing. It just seems like a quick pacifier. Oh, now you want to do it. Oh, now you want to do it. Now everybody's under investigation. And then on the other thing, not does it also come to a shock to us? Now it's coming to a shock to the police officers. Because I looked at the Atlanta police chief, and we stand on those, um, it's tough because you have to pick sides, but you listen to the police chief, and how these police officers not showing up because they don't know what to do. They've been trained to do this. So now they're calling in sick. So now they're losing their mind. But it is also the perfect powder keg to get the police back up, riled up again, and to fight back harder. So we just need to step back and take a look at what's going on, make the decisions ourselves, because the main reason, only way that we treated fair, and I keep saying this, and I'm gonna say this, and nobody has to repeat it. You would think it's insane of you to think that this country that doesn't love you and made you slaves is ever gonna treat you fair until you separate from it. And until we get our own political systems in place, until we get our own system of doing stuff in place, our own officials, our own system of democracy. I know, but even it, yeah, yeah. And I didn't say we would get we're not gonna we're not we're, we're not we're not gonna get there in one day. Yeah, so we can get there in one day. Is I give us a week. No, you have to. You can. Share your cake with everybody. Oh, I didn't say that we couldn't. My statement wasn't that we couldn't get there one day. We won't get there one day. Because everybody has to do it. Yeah. We can do it. We can do it. Exactly. So let me expound on that because we have to social engineer our own change. So that's one start is by spending dollar in the black community. But another start is the reality of it is if we ever decide to be treated fair, we're gonna have to separate from this country completely because any dollar that we spend is still gonna be taxed by America. Any land that we buy, we're still gonna have to buy American in this country. So I like I don't have art, but as an individual, you can decide to leave as an individual. So as an individual, it's in my plan to get enough to go. However I have to go and go somewhere and just not be a part of this country. But then I still want to be there part of this country so I can travel over here and see my people and dual citizenship. So get, because you're gonna get what's good out of here from it, and then just go. But in order that's coming.
Be the movement that you want to be. We here right now. You here right now.
No, I ain't got them all.
I know you're working on that thing. You got to what? How old are you? Got about 100 years. No,
Tell my son take over.
So there you go. Tell your son to take over.
Arm is tired.
So here's the deal. Change. You want to social engineering is real. Please look it up. You want to be the movement that we want. It's so easy for. I mean, in all fun and games, we talk and laugh. The real talk is that we have an opportunity now to make a difference, and that's everybody. We got our white sisters and brothers out there fighting with us that believe in this change. We believe. A little bit of an echo. We believe in our black. Hey, Mr. Seven, can you mute your phone for me real quick? Mute your line or whatever. We've got us as people